Oh, we got Nana dancing. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling for the Weekend. It's January 7th. It's the new year. Welcome happy to be back. Happy to be back. We got the awesome one, Jake Booty, and we got Brendan Blaze. I'm Jeff Valley Driver. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we're going to get right into it. We've got lots of stuff to talk about over the last couple of weeks. We haven't been on since before Christmas. So I hope both of you had some fun holidays, or at least some adequate holidays, or at the very least some not terrible holidays. Either way, whatever kind of holidays you have, they are over now, and we're hitting back to that work cycle, which means a lot of wrestling to talk about. We're gonna get right into it. We just had World's End. Look at how astute Blaze is looking right now.
He wants to read my. He can't read my signs.
He's ready for some analysis. He's ready to give us those deep thoughts on World's End. So at World's End, we had the reveal of the Devil. MJF lost his title. We have a new world champion. Samoa Joe is your new AEW world champion, and he won.
That guy?
He's a pretty cool guy. Something we somewhat predicted, or at least we hoped for. We certainly hoped for.
Yeah.
Before the holidays, and he won in a fairly clean fashion, and he just walked out and had nothing. Just did his thing. It was awesome. Match was, I'd say, pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like amazing or anything because it was more of a story-based match.
Yeah, it was.
Which
was
fine.
like it was mostly just a from what I didn't get a chance to watch it, but it looked like it was just a squash pretty much. Like it was just Joe kind of toying with MJF especially towards the end.
Towards the end, yeah, like it was still a back and forth, but it wasn't super long. And then the whole thing was Adam Cole coming out and then taking super long to take out the ring, which led to the finish, which was just him getting choked out, straight up, just choked out like a bitch. It's what Joe. It's what Joe does. And,
Adam Cole knows that.
He does. He does know that. And then we had the reveal of the Devil, which was Adam Cole, which was what most people were predicting. And I honestly thought it was really well done. The follow-up on Wednesday was also great with an opening about 15 to 20-minute segment that started the show, which was really good as well.
And a new theme.
And a new theme that is a banger. I cannot wait. I know he's not there yet, but we know he will eventually. I can't wait to see Kyle O'Reilly just have a belt and just rock air guitar that shit. It's gonna be great.
It's a banger, but it's not a crowd. It's not a crowd pumper banger like his old one was, and that's probably why they got rid of it because they don't want.
Of course, it's too much of a pop. It's too much of a pop.
Oh,
you would think that a guy like Chris Jericho would have learned that when he was a heel with his theme,
but he's such a mark for himself. He wants everybody to hear. He wants to hear everybody sing a song.
Jericho has known to love himself a little bit, for sure.
just a smidge.
I do think that Chris Jericho's favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho, for sure.
Of all time.
Of all time, baby. He is the GOAT. To some people. But yeah, really cool reveal, really good group. So in the group, we have Adam Cole as the leader. He's still injured. We've got the Kingdom, and we've got members of Undisputed Era with Roderick Strong. And we've got Wardlow, who's kind of the odd man out right now. So we can talk a little bit about that because I think that is probably the most interesting member of the group.
Definitely. No.
Oh.
I mean,
there we go.
It makes sense. Wardlow, he wasn't going to be doing anything anyway. Like we've talked about, he's been treading water for so long. His face run wasn't great after the MJF stuff. It was just And he's I don't know, he's a good big body for them. I think it'll work. I don't think it's like we've talked about. I don't think it's any kind of long-term thing. I'm not sure how when his contract's up, but I don't know if he's even going to stay with AEW. So, but
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that on the show before, where we've suggested, that he might be one of those guys where a change of scenery might be a good thing for him.
yeah,
Maybe this is it. Who knows? Maybe this will be the one that sticks. We've got a message from Sky too, which it's certainly something that's worth saying. He is a lackey for now. His reaction to Cole.
Oh yeah, that was.
So Cole was talking about how he's got Wardlow is going to go for the world title and then give it to him, and then Wardlow made a very obvious face, like, "Sure, bud, sure."
Yeah.
So that alone could be an angle, a bit rehashed from MJF Wardlow, which might be kind of part of the point. Hopefully, he's learned his lesson. I have seen some people say that it's a little close to the Adam Cole Christian Cage stuff. I'm gonna say it's too early to tell because we don't know where it's going. So I'll let that one play out, as we love to say. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely the odd man out. Like, the Kingdom obviously makes 100% sense. They've got
absolutely.
Cole, they've got the history with Roderick Strong.
Yeah,
titles out of it. So obviously, they're coming out massive winners out of this. So, and they're getting a bunch of TV time, which I think is great because I know not everybody likes the Kingdom. I think they're great.
So
I'm lukewarm on Matt Taven always, but they're fine right now. I like the promo they cut the other night, how they're going to defend the titles mean everything to me. And he's like, "Do you think I want to stroke a giraffe on TV?" No. So it's if they're wrestling a lot, which it looks like they're going to defend the titles all the time, then that's cool.
Yeah. They said they want to hold the titles till Wembley, which is
the first time I ever watched Ring of Honor. I actually became a fan of the Kingdom real fast. And I forgot what year that was, but I think Cole might have already been gone by then though. Can't remember.
Maybe it's possible. Yeah, I'm not an expert on old ROH. I would be lying if I said I was.
I forgot what year it was, but I finally seen it on back when Sinclair had it. And I was like, oh, it comes on here. I didn't know that. I watched them. I like this team.
Yeah, they're very solid in the ring. I think I really like not Matt Taven, but the other guy. Mike Bennett is really great. I think he's got a lot of energy. He's very charismatic. I saw him live once when I went to Chicago to see my first AEW show, way back when, for the first Forbidden Door, and we went to a Warrior Wrestling, which was the local promotion in Chicago, and he was in one of them, the second or third match close to the main event. And he was amazing. He gave the whole crowd a hug and stuff. And even though it was near the end of COVID, but whatever, everybody was wearing masks. It was fine. Either way, it was really fun. And he was really positive and put on a really good match. And kind of since then, he's kind of won me over as a fan. Matt Taven, he's fine. He's serviceable. I like his calling people Melvin's gimmick at the very least. I think that's funny. I mean, I'm not really expecting them to get much promo time anyway, so it's fine. They're good workers.
It's fine. It works perfectly for the angle they're doing. It makes sense. It was, it was obvious. Obviously, when they won the titles, it was pretty obvious who was under those masks.
Yeah. So the only question I would have though is I guess twofold. One is there's a debate that how often are they going to defend the ROH belts on ROH TV, which has been a complaint of some of the titles, the ROH titles being defended on AEW TV, but those people not really doing anything on the ROH show. And second, would this have worked better with the actual AEW tag team titles going on an actual tag team instead of Ricky and Big Bill, which is a different conversation because I actually like Big Bill and Ricky together.
I love them as a team. Yeah. ROH only gets so much TV time, and they want to put the focus on people that not everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knows the Kingdom already. So I don't really see the problem with them taking the ROH titles and getting them exposure on AEW because they see the ROH titles oh, ROH, yeah, I got to check that out more, and then they check it out and they see some of the new guys. Because it's not like ROH gets hours and hours and hours of TV time. It's what, 2 hours, 1 hour?
It's between an hour and a half and 2 hour and a half, depending
Okay.
on the week. It's kind of like just whatever the fuck they want to do with it.
Yeah, it's really got no
Yeah.
sense for real.
And like it's just a lot of exposing people to like I have no issue. I mean, I'm not obviously not watching it, but like you got Athena rocking it down, defending the title on there. You know,
Yep.
that's fine. And maybe now the title, the ROH Joe's old title, will get defended more on there too. Who won that?
Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher.
Fletcher. Oh yeah, Kyle Fletcher. So maybe he'll actually probably not.
He
probably won't
did.
be
He
there.
did this week, so he did
Did
defend
he?
it this week.
All right. So yeah, I mean, like at this point, you take what you can get.
Yeah, especially that like it's a tough discussion to have because I know some people want ROH TV to be like more special, and I agree that it could use more like big feeling stories outside of Athena. And they're trying some stuff. They're slowly building a women's tag division down there as well, which I appreciate. They're
You got
doing
the
lots.
Dalton Castle.
Yeah, you got the Dalton
tag.
Castle story. Yeah, with Johnny TV. That's a story down there too. So we are getting some stories. I can understand the argument of maybe wanting a few more belts on the actual show, but like you said, it only gets so much TV time, and the fact of the matter is those belts are going to get infinitely more eyes on them on AEW TV than they are on TV. That's just the way it is, right? So if you want to make something matter a lot, then obviously you're going to put it on AEW.
And the Kingdom has been and the Kingdom are. I mean, they were on ROH TV they just got moved up to the main to AEW for all this whole storyline. So they got plenty exposed on ROH TV before. So
yeah, they definitely did. We can talk about this message from Sky as well. Kind of a weak show for AEW standards. It felt like a little bit mid. I actually kind of agree with some of that sentiment. I don't think it was a bad show. I don't think it was a bad show, but I do think. And speaking of mid, I thought the middle of the show was the problem. Well, it was part of two problems of the show. The middle of the show felt a little like had weird slow pacing, and unfortunately, a lot of the show had quite a bigger amount than usual of botches and matches that actually weren't like. Not that they were bad, but there was a lack of spectacular matches in the first half of the pay-per-view. Outside of, I thought, the opening contest of the main card, which was the six-man tag, that one was really good. But then after that, up until the last three matches, it was kind of just okay.
Yeah, you see a lot. Like I saw a lot of the highlights, and lowlights of it. Like I've seen the flaming table spot way too many times at this point.
It was hilarious. That part was awesome.
Like he just missed him.
Yeah, nobody cared about that live. That shit was hilarious.
Nick Wayne still fucking sold it. He's like, I'm on fire.
That's what I appreciated so much about that spot is that like even though he didn't quite hit the table, he just sold his ass literally, which was hilarious. And that match was amazing, by the way. Like that cage match was outstanding.
Or
not cage match, sorry.
AEW standards or whatever. Like like when you use those a lot of great pay-per-views when one's like good, it's like kind of feels like but it was still a pretty good fun show.
I agree. Like I still agree that like by AEW standards, if you put all the AEW pay-per-views together on a list, this would definitely be near the bottom. And that doesn't mean the pay-per-view was bad. And I don't think that's what Sky is saying either. But it was kind of like it did underperform for a good portion of it. I think that's a fair criticism.
Like the Tony match, you don't hear much about because I don't know. It's just people weren't excited for Rio. That's just.
Yeah, I mean the match was fine. It was probably the better of the three women's matches. I want to say it was the best of the three. The Statlander match ended up being a bit botchy near the end, which kind of took away from it, unfortunately. The Tony match was just fine. Like it just wasn't like spectacular, but it was fine, and it got a decent amount of time. And then what was the Julia match? Who was she fighting again?
Yeah,
Abaddon. I would say
Abaddon.
actually I would probably say that was the best of the three, and it wasn't like a work rate match, obviously, right? It's those two. They're good, but they're not they're not at the level of Toni Storm by herself, for example, right?
Well, speaking of Toni Storm, I actually bought my first PWI in about 20 years because of the cover.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man, that is nice.
I saw it at Walmart. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta buy.
That's
I bought a
awesome that she's
PWI.
getting. That's great. She's getting that kind of exposure. But yeah, like, and I guess it's worth a bit mentioning. It's been one of the things since she switched gimmicks is that her character work has gone up a lot, but her matches have been a bit less good. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
There's always. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I mean, I was just agreeing. I ain't got. I mean, this. I don't know. I guess you can't. The way her character is, like, it makes the match have to be different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, there's only so much work rate you can have when you're supposed to be this fucking over the top, crazy,
indeed,
eccentric, fucking drugged up Starlet. It'll probably creep back once they learn how to work that character into it. But
yes, there's some growing pains. I'd say it gets fair bit in the ring where some stuff's hitting well, some other stuff is hitting not. Like this match, I thought was way better received than the one she had before, where she did the butt pan thing, and a lot of people didn't like that.
No, because the pan was hanging out.
Yeah,
which I didn't mind. But yeah, it's also like I just mentioned it the other day. Like you can't even hear a trace of her Australian accent anymore, or New Zealand accent, whatever.
It's true. Actually, I didn't even notice that, but you're right.
Like you can't even hear a hint of her accent at all anymore. It's just that over the top, breathy, whatever she does.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we're talking about, Scott. I'm definitely not saying she has a decline in ring. It's just I think she's having trouble finding the proper balance between the character work in the ring, but also making the matches still feel like they're hitting hard as hell.
Yeah,
there's a good balance to that.
Well, the Deonna, if she gets Deonna or Mariah May gets Deonna, I'm not sure who's gonna get her now.
Probably both, honestly. But she's gonna go through Mariah first, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
We can talk about that right now. Actually, we can transition right. Yeah, I mean, you just brought it up, so we might as well. Deonna Purrazzo debuted on Dynamite on Wednesday after a really good match from Mariah and Queen Amidala. She was really that match was awesome. I like props to both women. That drop kick by Mariah, sick.
Mariah's good. The hype is real.
It was my first time seeing it. I was impressed.
It was also my first time seeing her wrestle. Like I had heard a lot about her, but I had not actually seeked out any matches, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because I kind of wanted to get like the fresh eyes and just see, okay, what's she all about. I really like her in ring, but also I really like her character work in the ring. She does a lot of good faces. She teases the crowd. She's kind of a jerk, but like also like you can tell she's kind of like silly a little bit too, obviously.
She's a definite natural. She's a fantastic signing. For them, she'll be a champion there probably sooner than later. Like
yeah, I'd say so. I'd say she's whether it's I don't know if it'll be world champion this year, only because of like it's getting heavy at the top, and there's people coming back.
It is getting heavy at the top, but then again, it's like not super well unless Mercedes, then it's super heavy at the top. Yeah,
but then Jamie's coming back soon. That's the thing too.
Yeah, I heard it's supposed to be like February.
And Britt, and Thunder Rosa, and Serena Deeb. It's getting crowded.
Well, Britt, hopefully, like I know she's been gone a while, and she's a great character, but hopefully she did a lot of focusing on her in ring while she was away because that was the weakest part of her. Because she hasn't really been able to ever focus on doing it because she was a full-time dentist the whole time.
And she just kept getting, and her obviously her injury was getting. It's funny, but like it's not funny, but ironic almost that like her injury just kept getting worse and worse and worse when she probably should have taken time off earlier.
Yeah,
because her back is like messed up, right? I'm hoping she's feeling better, and I agree. I think some of it was she needed to put in some more time to get more warmed up and her especially her cardio. at times have been lacking. But I do think, like, you have an injured back, it's gonna make your whole stuff look like shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Britt is going to be a main title contender for a little. Like Hayter has surpassed her in that, so I don't think, and I don't think Thunder Rosa will get another sniff at the world title either. So it'll probably be like, Mercedes, Hayter, Tony, Deonna, those people will
Deonna, I
be
can see. Yeah, I put Deonna's chances at fairly high. I mean, she was presented as a big fucking deal. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
let's see what Sky's got to say here. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What? I can't see the
Yeah,
chat.
that. Oh, you can't see it. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
she's talking about how, like, they made her look bad like a few years ago. Different times for sure. Unfortunately, Deonna at that time was working for Impact, and they needed to just get the title off of her. So at the very least, she got on TV. But I remember that episode, and unfortunately, that crowd just did not give two shits about Deonna at the time. They didn't know who she was, and they didn't react to
No.
her, and it sucked. I felt bad for Deonna at the time too. However, how they presented her this time in her hometown made her sound
Yeah.
like a big deal, and then that having her kick the living crap out of Mariah's face was great.
Her and Tony are definitely the battle of the fucking the thighs, the thick legged girls, man.
There's a
Those two
lot.
are-
There's a lot. There's a lot of muscular,
Yeah.
strong-legged ladies, and I dig it. I like that. What's one thing I like about AEW, especially, is that there's all shapes and sizes of men and women, and there's doesn't really, like, you don't have to have a certain look to succeed in this company, which I think is really really great. This you just have to be entertaining. That's all you have to be. I don't know. I think it's awesome. It's a good sign of the times these days that you don't have to look a certain way to be a star, which is awesome. I mean, obviously it can help, but the main thing is be entertaining and be a good wrestler. That's all that matters.
Back to the elder with the top of the core. You got to think also soon Sky Blue and Julia Hart's going to move up to the main.
Eventually, it might not be this year, but
I could maybe if it is be like right near the end of the year, but probably the start of next year.
You know what I would think would happen before that happens is that they might actually get like a women's tag.
I think it's
thing going.
happening. I honestly do think it's
And
happening.
I think Sky and Julia will be tag champs
Oh yeah, definitely.
because they are like, yeah, they both improved, but they still both got a long way to go. They're both so green.
Which is why they're in the TV title decision. Which is why it was really good that they changed how that title worked. Like, it was good on Jade at first, but unfortunately we talked about it like before the break too, like how they didn't have a mid-card division. Now they have a mid-card division, and they have so many young female wrestlers that they need a mid-card division for them to, like, thrive and have something to do and have something to fight for.
It didn't do any Jade any favors either, obviously,
No,
from the fact
unfortunately.
that she's still training, doing squashes all the time. People are like, it's the buzz is that, she's not ready. And I'm like, yeah, because she just did squashes, man. Like, you're not going to learn. That was just part of the problem. Like,
It's definitely, yeah, it absolutely was. And, like, you heard a lot of stories too about the reason a lot of her matches were on Rampage was because they would edit the matches afterwards. And, like, that's not only on her, but that's just telling you that how she's. Let me check one thing. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Because you guys keep talking. Yeah, you guys keep talking about.
While you're doing that, what I would do, I said it in a thread earlier. What I would do with Jade right now is when she's close-ish, I would team her immediately with Trinity, and I would have her lean on Trinity to help show her the ropes, cover for her, and eventually when the time comes and Jade's ready, and Trinity will put her over. But it's because somebody like Trinity, she's not. Like, I don't think she's the main event in WWE anymore. I never really bought her as one anyway, but
I don't think she is either. That's all due respect to Trinity, and I really enjoy Trinity's work.
But her coming back and her being like to help Jade, like that, I think that would be the best for her.
Yeah, I can see that
personally.
So I was looking how many matches total Jade has had. 64 matches. That's nothing.
In 3 years?
Total. That's total. She doesn't even have 100 matches.
Yeah,
it's not.
Like that's crazy, right? Like you have to be a freak athlete and take to wrestling to be that successful under 100 matches. And she's a freak athlete, but she hasn't taken to wrestling the same way as others have yet. I'm not saying she can't do it. I actually do think she can. But it's going to take way more time than I think people think. And that's why I was like, when people were like, oh, like have her in the Rumble, have her debut on the main roster. I'm like, you guys have not seen this woman enough. She's got the look, but she needs the reps.
If they're not going to put Camille on the main roster immediately, they definitely shouldn't put Jade because
Camille still has to under 200 matches. I'm pretty sure too. I think she's over 100, but under 200 for sure.
I mean, she's still green too, but she's far more seasoned than Jade, and she's at least been doing matches, not squashes.
Matches, and she's done a lot more promo work than Jade has as well. Yeah. She's a main attraction in NWA, right? So
yeah, and she started out as a heater. She was fucking Aldis's bodyguard heater. That's how she started out. So like, I could see her easing into that role possibly.
We can address this one because I watched. We all watch it now. So Sky is asking what other teams other than Julia Sky Blue, Tony Mariah are available. And then she's asking Kiera Hogan. Kiera actually just wrestled this week. She just wrestled on Collision. Yeah, she literally just wrestled.
All those booties. Well, you could put her back with Red Velvet. They could be a tag.
I like that team actually. And there is the Outcast that Sky mentioned as well. They added Harley Cameron to that whole story, which actually I like that story. It's a really stupid story, but I really like it.
She is incredibly entertaining.
She's very funny. She's very funny.
Also, you can put Ty and Anna Jay back together.
They definitely will once Ty is back. 100%.
I'm not sure Ty's gonna be back.
You don't think Ty's gonna come back at all?
No, but it's gonna be
no, she just had the baby. There's going to be at least another 6 months.
What about Leah? Who is Leela Hirsch hanging out? Who is she hanging out?
She is with Elring's daughter.
Oh yeah.
In ROH. And there's the twins as well. They're not
Renegade twins.
I really like them. There'll definitely be one. Willow and Chris Statlander as well. That's another team.
That's a good one.
I can't remember everyone that was on, but it was a decent sized little list.
Oh, there's also Mercedes and not Mercedes Monet, but Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah.
And the shooter girl. I always forget. Diamante, thank you. It's just a baller theme. So they're actually like building up quite a few teams over like a long period of time.
It would be a mutual title between ROH and AEW.
It has to be. If they don't do it that way, it'll be stupid. It has to be across all brands. That's the only way it's going to work, and that's the only way it should work in WWE as well.
But
because
even
there's just
like
not enough teams. Billy and Athena, of course.
Yeah. Britt and Jamie could come back as a tag team.
Britt, Jamie, absolutely, for sure.
Rebel could come back with him. She's still employed.
I would be afraid to put Rebel in the ring because last few times they put her in the ring, it did not go well.
I miss Rebel though.
She's entertaining, but that's why Britt needs to come back as a heel.
Yeah,
because Rebel doesn't work with them as a face as much.
No.
She was talking in an interview about bringing back the clinic segments, and I hope they do eventually because those were my favorite. They're amazing. That's what got Britt over in the first place.
True.
Yeah. And who did Thunder Rosa? Thunder Rosa
with Abaddon. I don't know if that's gonna last. That's a weird thing. No, I would do something else. I think Thunder Rosa could be a bit higher on the card than that, personally.
Thunder Rosa she came back like showing off all the booty though. She's like, okay, this is how you guys get over now at AEW. Here's my ass.
It's been like that since the
dude. I don't
since
know
day one, but she's looking good.
With the whole parts missing out of her, like doing.
Oh, she had the new gear. She has a new theme too, which I'm not like. Yeah. I'm not sure on yet. Mostly because I thought her original theme was like amazing. So we'll see.
She does a lot of rehab to do on her reputation there.
She does.
Not staying internally, but externally with fans and stuff. Because we're all fucking ignorant fucks, and we just think that she fucked over Tony just to be a dick. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully they turn that into a storyline at some point when Britt comes back, because I feel like the best thing for both Britt and Like, because that's a nice thing about that feud, right? Like, you can reignite that feud without any titles involved, and that's like a free women's feud that you can throw. Like, you can build up to the next pay-per-view even easily. Sells itself, and you don't have to have titles involved, which is great. It's just like make money. It's great.
And that's what we want, to have women's matches, women's storylines that thrives without needing titles.
Yeah, you can even make it the number one contender feud that lasts like 2 months. That's fine too. But it doesn't exactly. You're 100% right. Give me women's stories. Give me women's. It doesn't even have to be matches. Just give me stories and segments that are not
regular stories too.
Yeah,
that's one thing I'll give NXT credit for. NXT does it exceptionally well with female wrestling storylines.
They do.
And matches.
Absolutely. They're Sean's really good for that.
Like the females are front and center pretty much all the time. Like it's good. It's good shit, man.
Yeah, from the little I've seen, there's almost always at the very least like 7 to 14 women featured every NXT episode, whether it's in the background or talking or having a match or whatever. They have something to do on the show. You're reminded of them every week.
And like not even like, and like there's the Tiffany Fallon storyline that's not revolved around a title, where Tiffany now has to be her ranch hand. That's gonna be hilarious.
Get some funny outfits probably from Tiffany.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be. I'm sure there'll be
an all pink cowboy suit of some sort.
Yeah, pigtails, and everybody will melt. Yeah, no, but yeah, that's one thing I'll give. NXT probably does more now than any other fed than them. Obviously on the main roster, and then probably better than AEW as a women's show. But
absolutely.
AEW's
getting better. It's getting better, but
main roster is still tough.
There's just
WWE.
Oh yeah, the WWE like have some weeks where they feature them a lot, but it's
not for like.
I know for SmackDown is rough for the women's division. I know that for sure.
I swear, man, they need 2-hour show a week just for women in WWE.
They have too many. It's so top heavy. Like
I will die on that cross. A 2-hour women's show would do wonders for fucking. Like they have enough talent. Like the other day when I can't remember who it was asked if they had enough talent to do that. I went through and I listed. I haven't got to finish it, but that's all the females that would be on the main roster for the women that I can see getting called up, plus the people like Camille and
Julia too.
Yeah, Julia and who else?
Julia, Camille, and Trinity are both
Trinity,
are all rumored to be coming in.
I also penciled in Mandy Rose to come back too, because I would throw Toxic Attraction in the title. I would reunite them and put them on because while I enjoy JC Jane, what she's doing now, the Toxic Attraction is the fucking, that's the way to go on the main roster. So
I think so too, and they need Mandy as the star attraction. I think is what helps.
Yeah,
makes a lot of money, and like I do think that if she does come back to wrestling, it seems likely that it would be with WWE.
Oh yeah.
She could have signed with AEW. Like, if AEW were really that interested, they would have signed her by now. And if she was interested in going to AEW, she would have signed there by now as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, but she's making a butt ton of money. So until that,
why would she take bumps if she doesn't have to?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get it. Like, why put your body through that and put up with a bunch of bullshit?
That's what Lacey.
You just can't control.
Lacey learned.
Yeah, I mean,
Lacey Evans will never be in another ring again. Not that it's any big loss, but
no,
she took that bout of fame from the WWE, and now she's fucking making that money bank off it.
And hey, I respect it. That's
God bless America.
You do what you gotta do. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting though. Like going back to Purrazzo. And women's wrestling and women's wrestling in AEW, like there's a whole 20-minute segment including the match and post-match. Like they gave the women like a lot of time on Dynamite.
Oh yeah,
a good fifth of the show, which is great.
That's fantastic. They also accomplished two things. They made both Mariah May and Deonna feel like a big deal.
Yeah, they matter.
And just that segment, like Mariah May has been the side character for like a couple months now.
Yeah.
but she hasn't felt it. But that match, they made her feel like a big deal by having a banger of a match, and then she got mic time, and then they made Deonna feel like a big deal. It helps. It was in her hometown. She got her hometown pop. All that stuff.
Yeah,
Her Ron,
smart,
her Ron,
smart booking.
Ron Perlman looking boyfriend was there clapping. Her
Yeah,
husband.
Macklin's awesome. I love Macklin. Yeah, no, it was great. Like it was. I want more of this from AEW more often. If ideally on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Like this was exactly how you present new talent. Both from like you said it perfectly. Both from Mariah and Deonna, both look like big stars. I would assume that people are interested in seeing more from it because I certainly am. Like I want to see this feud. I want to see this match, and And on top of that, they had Renee in the ring, which I think is great. More Renee in the ring is always good. Tony Schiavone is great, but Renee's any time I can see more Renee on my screen, I'm happy because she's just amazing at what she does.
She's great.
She's the gold standard.
Because she's absolutely 100% natural. Her reactions are real. She's not putting anything on. She's not trying to be a pretty. She's just not trying to be anything but Renee. That's
yeah, and she's clearly having fun, so I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I say that about commentary all the time. If commentary sounds like they're having fun, I'm gonna probably be having fun because I'm like, hey, they're having fun. Like that means I should be having fun too. I should be having a good time. But that's why I can't stand drab commentary because it's just I find it just kills the product.
True.
It's just too boring.
If they don't something that they got to give you they got to be excited to get you feeling like it's a big deal.
Exactly.
I don't feel Kevin Kelly Kevin Kelly is drab to me. Like I watch Collision and I'm like, he just doesn't do much for me. Like
I can see it. He's growing on me because I've felt that way about him in the past as well. Because I didn't really vibe with his sense of humor right off the bat. If he wasn't with such a big personality like Nigel, I think it would be bad. And Chris brought up a good point too in the chat yesterday. He was saying that he wished they would switch Tony Schiavone out for not for Nigel but for Ian Riccaboni.
Yeah.
And I think if they had that three people, I think that dynamic would work really well.
Probably. It's just I also remember him on ROH too. But he was with Carino, another big personality, so that was probably helped him out too.
Yeah, he was in New Japan as well for a long time, and it was in New Japan. It was he was the big personality in Japan, weirdly enough. So it was a bit of a different vibe. Yeah, but he's also the kind of guy I find the more he knows about the product, the more knowledgeable and better he gets. So I don't know. I don't mind him, but I can totally see the criticism that he's not the highest energy guy. He sounds sarcastic at times, which could come off as disinterested at times as well. I can totally see that.
Yeah. He comes off better than JR, so that's that.
Yeah, I mean, I God bless JR. I hope he's doing well with his health, but I have not missed him on my television at all.
I haven't missed him on my television since early Attitude Era. I got sick of the JR King shtick pretty early on in the Attitude Era.
Fair enough.
But he was never my favorite. I'm more of a Gorilla and Brain were my all-time favorite duo. Gorilla Monsoon and Brain were the best.
Yeah.
So, but there's
you trying to read the chat, please?
I get it. Right. I found it now. Yeah. I was trying to find.
The camera's just zooming in closer and closer.
You're super scary, man.
He's looking like Naito out here. Trying to get that.
Hey, man, what's that say? I can't read it.
Yeah, take my glasses.
Some pretty interesting stuff from AEW this week. We can move on to the big WWE news this week, which was The Rock showing up on Raw, which was a pretty big deal, obviously.
Pretty big deal, but man, I hope if he's really gonna have a match with Roman, I hope he starts training pretty soon because dude was gassed getting to the ring.
He got gassed for sure. And he definitely went long.
But Jinder went long too though. They waited way too long. They had Jinder on for way too long before they brought Rock out.
I was shocked, dude. I knew it was coming just because.
Yeah, I mean,
Jinder was doing well. Jinder was also using very obvious wordage.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he was like
just trying to,
sneaking in Rock catchphrases in there. I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
and it's just hilarious because like he returns, like Jinder's been on the roster, like he's been
Where did he go?
Yeah.
he's been with it. He's been with Indus
Is he one of the free agent dudes that can roam, or is he officially on the Raw roster?
I'm not 100%. I think he's a free agent. I'm not 100%
I
sure.
know there was like a short list of
on NXT some, I think.
Oh yeah, he
Well,
did go.
like-
You're right, Blaze. He did go down to NXT
Yeah.
for a little bit. You're right.
Yeah, with Indus like he's been with those guys for a while.
Where's the coming guy?
He's with the other guy. They're the tag team now.
Oh, that's in this year. Okay.
Yeah, Veer and Senga.
Veer, yeah. I know he was coming for a long time.
Well, sometimes it's some people have talent like that.
Yeah, man. Some heavy drainage.
Those guys, man, I feel bad because those guys just keep disappearing. It's like, are they that bad? Like, I never thought they were that bad, but
Well, especially I feel like
they're just so hot.
The baseball guy like is like a handsome dude and he's got like a good look. Like I feel like you could do something with him.
Well, Vince had the biggest problem with it. The biggest problem with that is that they did the whole, yeah, he's a good looking dude with a cool story. He's the $1 million arm. Let's make him generic evil bad guy heel.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre. Like, and you brought up the $1 million arm. Like, I feel like they haven't capitalized on that at all.
They haven't mentioned it fucking like once.
Which is like the biggest thing about him. Like, you should be pushing that. Like, you know, especially WWE that loves pushing catchphrases and like monikers. Yeah. Like, you could be pushing that like 20 times a show.
No, they don't want to see that.
They were pushing the whole Pat McAfee with being a professional with the kick. Like his punt kick could kill you.
Yeah. The punt kick will kill you. Oh man. Yeah.
And it looked good. Adam Cole sold the fucking hell out of it when in NXT, but yeah. Like I don't know what they're doing. There seem to be hot and cold on them now. The AOP are back. I really don't know if they need to brooding.
How was that?
Unless it's Raw.
We'll go back to the Raw, but did you guys watch SmackDown? How was the AOP thing? Was it cool? Or?
It looked cool. I mean, it was just a behind Cross and Scarlett came out with Ellering. I'm like, whoa, Ellering! Wait a minute, what's he? And then the fucking AOP came from behind, attacked the Profits and Lashley. Which is, I think it was Dale said it was good that they did that. I'm like, it is because nobody wants to fucking boo the Profits, especially Montez Ford.
Street Profits, no. They'd have to do something vile to be, and they have to just.
And they weren't doing it. They were just with Lashley and get a little bit more meaner.
And Lashley's cool too. Like, nobody really wants to boo Lashley. He's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, it's so having them heal and hopefully this works for Cross because it's probably fucking Yahtzee time.
It's true. Once you get like your single name from Vince, you were kind of doomed. Except for Gunther. Gunther turned out all right.
But yeah, like if this doesn't work out for Cross, I mean,
if this doesn't work out for Cross, I don't know what he's got to be done, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. This has got to be like it. I do like how they played into everybody who he had feuded with, even though he lost most of those feuds.
Right.
They've all turned. And that was kind of cool how he played that. The only one that didn't turn was Ray, but he talked about the whole thing about how he beat the shit out of Dominic, his own son. So like,
right.
It's kind of a cool twist to that. Like, I don't think that was the long-term plan of him losing all those feuds.
I don't think so either, but I think it's a good way to like, make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
They're like, oh no, this was my plan all along. TikTok,
TikTok.
But, I like AOP though. I've always liked AOP. I thought they had some really good matches in NXT, like that triple threat. I think it was triple threat with DIY.
Legendary NXT match.
That's fucking match was awesome. Those guys can go, and like when they did the War Games too, right? With Roddy joined them for War Games before he joined Undisputed Era. It was AOP.
That's a good match too. I'm just worried because they haven't wrestled in so fucking long, so I have no idea how they are. I don't.
I think they spent a lot of this time since they've been signed back because it's been almost a year.
Over
they probably
a year,
did a lot of training. Yeah, they probably did a lot of training, a lot of conditioning. I would hope.
I would hope
Triple H.
If not, it's gonna be But no, I like. I've said before, I'm not a big Cross guy, but I like this pairing. This pairing makes sense to me. Visually, it makes sense. It has
He's got
potential.
He's got an amazing look. Cross looks fucking
Yeah.
like a bad man. It's and Scarlett's got a good look too, and now she's all changed her look up too to still.
Yeah, I saw the new look. She looks cool. Yeah, I actually dig it. It looks a bit more like a wrestling character at this point too, which I think is good for her.
Not
Yeah,
just
I don't
the
know.
whole.
Cross, I think like man, he's just like if he was like this, if he was in WWE like 10 years ago, he would have been like the biggest fucking thing. When like brooding and dark t-shirts were like the big thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
But
but I mean, I hope it works. I've met him. I met him and Scarlett. They're both wicked nice.
I've
So I
heard they're
hope it works
great
out.
people. Yeah, I've heard they're really nice people.
Yeah, yeah. So I hope it works out for them. I can't even say that there's any wrestler. I always say that about wrestlers. Oh, they're wicked nice, which they all have been pretty much. I do have a bad. I don't have personally have a bad story, but one of my friends had a bad run-in with Jericho actually at a con. He said he was a drunk douchebag to everybody at one of them cons. So.
Damn.
That sucks, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
There's times there's been stories about Chris and the drink for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But no, like Gargano and Candice, both wicked. Ethan
I
Page
mean, I would assume so. Yeah.
Ethan Page is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met.
He seemed like he would be.
Everything I've seen from Ethan has been wonderful. I used to less now, but I used to watch his toy hunt like pretty much every week. I used to watch his other podcast every week.
I was on it once.
Really good. Yeah, I remember that.
I was on it once. But and let's see.
Adam Cole's a great guy.
Bowens was wicked nice. Max Caster was a little he's a little odd, a little standoffish. But
so he's kind of how he is in the ring. Yeah. He's a bit of a weird dude.
He's a fucking really weird dude, man. Like that whole MGF thing that he started, like that wasn't like that was just him being a weirdo and they put it on TV. Like
yeah, he's always being he's been like doing that like thirsty for MJF shtick on Twitter for like 3 years at least. Maybe even longer. I think it might even be as old as when they were in Creative Pro together.
And like it's like Anthony Bowens is the gay one, but Max Caster is actually like he is the gay one. Like
and as far as
which he might be.
Yeah, it's a fun gimmick. I like it. I think it's something different, which is always it's fun.
The nicest wrestler I ever met would have been Daphne. I met her at one of the a local indie show.
Oh, cool!
At one point, she was really nice.
Yeah, I've actually never. I don't think I've ever met any wrestlers like outside of like watching them at a show and interacting with them like as a fan, like in the crowd.
Also,
that's it.
I'd also met Ron Simmons and got him to sign a popcorn bag because that's all I had to sign.
Yeah, I've met most of them from doing Toy Hio, the toy show, because we get a lot of them in there and a lot of weird toys. But like Tony Atlas is in this area, like lives in Maine, and I met him I saw him at a show. But years before that, me and my buddy were coming back from New Hampshire. We went to gamble a little bit, and we stopped at the rest area at like 11. And on the side of the road, one of the rest areas with like a Burger King in it. And Tony Atlas was there getting some Burger King. So like, holy shit, it's Tony Atlas. And that dude, his arm, and he's like 70. His arms are still the size of my fucking head. It's crazy.
That's amazing. That's the guy who likes to get walked on, right?
Yeah. both him and her were at that toy show I did a year and a half ago. Man, like they were both there. They were right across from me.
That's awesome.
Tony's he's wicked nice. He talks about the old days and shit. So it's pretty.
He just made a tweet like when the last day about that.
He did. That's why I'm mentioning it too. I love that he just like it's a funny gimmick for him too.
He doesn't care.
Own it. It's like, hilarious.
He doesn't care. Why would he care anymore? He's done everything he needs to do. Another funny wrestling thing is one of the toy houses I did is Charlie Haas was there signing autographs and he's like, "Hey man, can I borrow you?" He just plugs his phone in next to my booth. He's like, "Can you keep an eye on this for me? My battery's about to die. I don't want to miss a call from my wife." I'm like, "Hey," I go, "Yeah, but if Shelton calls, can I answer it?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead."
That's hilarious.
Shelton. When is Shelton going to be in BCC? That's what I want to know. Shelton Benjamin.
Oh man, I forgot about Shelton Benjamin. He hasn't shown up yet since his.
I would put him in BCC. I think he would be a natural fit with those guys.
I mean, that would be amazing. Even as like the mentor type, and then the wrestling occasionally as well. Or
Him
put
and
him in a
Claudio would be a
tag team.
hell.
Oh, man, I was about to say the same thing. Yeah.
Him and Claudio in a tag team, man.
Yeah, man, that would rule. That would rule.
Because it goes back to when Kings of Wrestling and the World's Greatest Tag Team were feuding. I mean that's classic ROH. Have you never seen any of those matches?
No, that's the kind of old stuff I have to go back to look at for sure.
Kings of Wrestling versus World's Greatest Tag Team were fucking great. Yeah, those were great matches.
I could definitely see Shelton coming into AEW. It's been very quiet, but I know that even before his official 90 days were up, there was already reports that like there were people in AEW very interested. So he's obviously I mean, I'm guessing one of those people is Bryan Danielson because I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I want my boy in here for sure.
Probably Danielson, Claudio, Mox. They're probably other dudes.
I mean, even like I'm sure like long term too, like if they can pry him away from WWE as a trainer, like when he wants to retire, like that's a big get too, right? They need guys like that in AEW.
Yeah, they definitely need some trainers.
Of course,
people to go
and agents and stuff like that, right? He's a guy that I think would be. I'm sure he's already done a bunch.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why they put him with Gable, I'm sure. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll go back to The Rock though. Like big moment. Which town were they in again? You remember?
They were in. I can't remember.
In the West Coast.
Wasn't there some? I thought he was in Canada somewhere. I know it was SmackDown.
No, I'm talking about the Raw. The Raw one this week.
The Raw was I don't know.
I don't remember, but
I only watched the Raw segment, so I didn't watch the rest of the show. So I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere. Let's say, and
somewhere where they do. Oh no, it was San Diego. Jimmy was there.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was like, I think it was the West Coast. Yeah. Okay, so Jimmy was there. That's cool that he was.
Yeah,
there.
Jimmy was there.
What a lucky guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, like,
what did you think of the promo? Let's start there.
Rock promo. It was long. It was too long-winded. Like, get out there, hit your catchphrases, do something quick. I don't know if they were I think he might have been killing time though because
the injury,
obviously
the injury
to Giovanni Vinci.
Hopefully he's okay. That was
I think so. I think it was just a concussion. Just a concussion. He just scrambled his brain a little bit. He should be fine. But no, I think that's why. But I mean, it was long. It was. I mean, the ending. You saw it coming. Where should I sit? At the bar? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I like him. I like it. I like him. I just do not want it to be deterring Cody's story, and I don't think it's going to. I think Triple H has enough sense.
Wherewithal, yeah. I hope so too.
I think they might do Roman Rock at Elimination Chamber because they definitely want to have a giant gate for Perth for their first show in Australia.
Why not?
And I think that they could probably convince him to do it. Rock could do some press while he's over there. The Rock loves press.
The Rock
whoever he is, it's. I just don't want it to be a Mania. I just don't want it to be that. I just don't want it to be Cody doesn't get to finish the story at Mania because that's just not fair to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
at all.
It's a tough one because I think like the argument to not have Rock at Mania is a hard one to make, right? From a business point of view, of course.
You could still have him though, but you could have him like
as a referee.
Solo cost him the match at Elimination Chamber. You could have Rock. Rock and Solo. You want to put Roman doesn't need to be put over by you. Solo Sikoa could sure use that fucking rub. They already had him go over Cena.
That's true. That's a good point. And then you could have, but then it's like, do you have Solo be the one that dethrones Roman in the end?
No, because
or maybe he just like turns his back on Roman.
I think Roman's getting to the end of it. I think he barely shows up now as it is. I think he doesn't need it anymore. He's done what he needs to do. He's broken records. He's fucking made millions. He's still, he still has the chance to get located. Like anything can come back, Just enjoy your time. Be an actor. Do some stuff.
This is a fair point. I like saying, if doesn't win.
When did you start caring about WWE, Sky?
But I would say probably cares more about it than I do, if we're being completely candid.
Well, I know you don't care. That's why I didn't mention you.
Yeah, I mean, I watch the pay-per-views. I care about following what's going on because I like to talk about it. I like to be informed. And like there's still some wrestlers I really like over there. It's just like, we've had this conversation before. Like the WWE style of presentation and the way they book stuff is not what I enjoy the most. I don't think it's
Yeah.
bad. It's just I prefer
It's
other stuff.
convoluted. It's convoluted.
Yeah. And sometimes it's
There's
too
too
like
many-
over the head, and it's too much for me. I like stories being told in the match, whereas WWE is the matches are part of the story, and like they'll tell you the story in segments and promos in the ring, whereas AW tends to like they'll tell you stories in the matches, and the stories will kind of come out from the matches. Just a slightly different philosophy, but it's what I prefer. Neither of them are bad.
Yeah, I like them both pretty much equally.
Yeah.
But I've always said I'm more of a promo.
Yeah, of course.
Guy
That's
anyway.
totally chill.
I'm not a technical wrestling savant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't want it. Like I said, I just don't want it to affect Cody's story. I think that would be awful. I think you'd lose a lot of your stuff.
This is a fair point. It's basically saying like, why would you care about Roman or that title if it ends with the same exact one? Like for example, if Roman wins with the interference again, which they could do. You never know. They could go for the Hogan record.
I'm 100% with you on this guy. Especially with it, they should have ended at WrestleMania last year. You're 100% right. This dragging on has done nothing. The only thing it's possibly done is elevate LA Knight, but he was already on. Somebody else could have done that too. Like he could have challenged for somebody else. Like his rise was going to happen anyway, but he would have had to have faced Roman, and Roman's the big bad, but there's always another big bad.
Yeah, I would also argue against that. I would say that like, yes, it helped LA Knight to a degree, but he still hit that glass ceiling. And as long as Roman holds that title, like nobody else can be elevated at that level. And like Cody's there. I will say Cody's there. Cody is the guy right now. I think it's very hard to disagree with that. I think I'll say I think he's, while not showing those metrics all the time, I think once the new car smell is worn off, I truly believe that Cody is a bigger draw than CM Punk. I really do, and I don't mean that as a slight to Punk at all. I think Cody is that over. I just do. Something CM Punk. So there you go. We got there somehow.
There you go, Brandon.
I managed to talk about CM Punk somehow.
There you go, smart.
But I do think I am serious with that. I really do think that Cody has the potential to be the guy in WWE like for the next like 5 to 10 years. He's that over. He's very, very, very over.
He's very over. He's very genuine. Cody, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cody's character is very calculated. Everything he does is very calculated, but he comes off very naturally because that's in his genes. You come off naturally. Dusty did it. Dustin did it. They come off like when Dustin wasn't doing Gold Dust and he's doing just Dustin Rhodes. He's very natural. It's just
he's the natural.
He's the natural.
He's the natural.
It was right there. But yeah, no, Cody's great. I think Cody could be the guy. Seth is still really early in his career. Like Seth could still be the guy there. Roman's younger. Yeah, Roman is young, but he's just I think he's bored.
Yeah, I mean he's young. He's in his 40s, right? Like he's still
I think he's late 30s, yeah.
Because I do think like the median age group for being that champion in WWE is like late 30s to early 40s. That's what they generally like as their champions historically, and recently as well. Like it hasn't really been that different with Triple H, which is why I think they like slowly are working towards.
He was born May 25th, 1985.
So he's 37.
Yeah.
Turning 38.
Yeah.
So you're right, late 30s.
Yeah.
So he's still got quite a few years in his prime still.
But
health issues aside.
The cancer is always in the back of your head with that. LA Knight too. LA Knight's up there too. Like he could get. He's in that range. I just don't know if it's going to work out for him. I just don't know if they're going to.
He might run out of time. Honestly, he might run out of runway.
Title.
And with Roman too, like his age aside, like and health aside, like he's got a very large family as well.
Yeah.
He has a lot of kids, so I'm sure at one point he probably just wants. And even now he's doing it. He's spending time with his family, right? Like it's important.
And he probably could do some acting too. Like
of course.
He knows a guy in the biz that could probably help him get a couple of roles.
At least get a couple of roles. He has in the past, right? So.
Yeah, he was in one of the Fast. Or wasn't that
Hobbs one?
Hobbs
yeah.
and Shaw.
Hobbs
and Shaw with Jason Statham. Hi.
Yeah.
Are you the Rock's cousin?
He is. He is the Rock's cousin. A lot of people are the Rock's cousin.
This is true. And his daughter, his daughter, all of a sudden is a GM in NXT.
We can talk about the other I guess pretty big thing that happened in WWE this week, which relates to Roman. We had the 3-way match on SmackDown that ended up being interfered with, and now we have a 4-way match for the Royal Rumble, which is interesting because I was actually expecting 3 of these 4 people to be in the Rumble as well. Yeah, they might still be, I guess, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I hate it when they do it, though.
They traditionally do not do this.
They have been over the last like 10 or so years of Vince's run with Royal Rumbles. There's been a lot of double dipping.
I don't like that either, for what it's.
I hate it.
It makes.
I think it's stupid. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think unfortunately LA Knight eats the pin, and it's probably from. I mean, it's gonna be Roman, obviously. Yeah,
I think Roman's not losing. Roman's not losing at the Rumble.
No, what's gonna happen is he's probably gonna catch either an RKO or a phenomenal forearm, and then Roman's gonna Superman punch whoever gave him that, and then the spear, and then the goons outside will probably keep whoever the other person at bay.
I think you're right. I think it's gonna be AJ because he's a heel right now. I think right. AJ came back as a heel-ish, more heelish than Randy, right? I would say. Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah, and he's got a little thing with LA Knight, so yeah.
Yeah. So what I think will likely would happen is that AJ is gonna cost LA Knight the match. They'll feud after the Rumble together.
Yeah.
And then most likely it'll be Randy versus Roman at like whatever throwaway pay-per-view is in between the Rumble and Elimination Chamber. If there is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there is.
I don't think there is one.
No? Then maybe that match just doesn't happen at all. But unless they don't do Rock, if they don't do Rock, Roman at Elimination, then likely they'll do Randy. That would make sense.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, Randy will beat him at Elimination Chamber, then Cody can beat Randy at WrestleMania.
No,
but
that's not happening.
That's not the story.
Roman is not losing the belt outside of Mania. That would be stupid now. Like he's had it for too long. It has to be at the very most maybe a SummerSlam. Maybe. But there's no way. There's no way it's outside of those 2 events. That doesn't make any sense. The moment's too small.
And Cody not being the one to beat Cody winning it off somebody else other than Roman is not. That's not the story either.
What if Cody beats Roman for the belt but not at Mania? Would that be acceptable?
No, because it's got to be Mania. For this whole build up, it should have been last year.
It should have been last year.
And if it's not, if the only way to fucking put out the fire of last year's Mania, the smell, get rid of that.
It's for him to win. It's for him to win
at Mania. It's still going to be, oh yeah, he beat Roman, but he didn't get the Mania moment. He didn't get that Mania moment.
A question: what if they have Damian cash in on Cody right after he won?
I think that would be awful.
I think that would be awesome if Damian Priest was actually a hated heel. I don't think he is though, and I don't think
the only person hated in Judgment Day is Dom, and I don't even think he's hated. I think
it's ironic. Yeah,
I think it's just having fun. Yeah, maybe JD, but even JD is worth. I don't know.
I mean, our most loved member of Judgment Day.
Yeah, they're heels, but they're too cool of heels at this moment.
I'm over that storyline already, though. I'm over the R-Truth storyline already with the Judgment Day.
I think it's very boring. Like again, I don't watch every week, but I follow, and it's one of this. The Judgment Day stuff. I feel it has been spinning its wheels for like 2 months now, at least, if not longer. Since
Well, yeah.
SummerSlam, really, actually, probably.
They got to do something to change it up. Rhea, I mean, I love Rhea, but like, and she made Ivy Nile look really good the other day, so
I
that's
heard it
good.
was a good match. Yes.
Yeah, but like, she needs to do more as the champion. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. There needs to be a shakeup on it, but the R-Truth stuff with it is not me. It's not for me. Like, R-Truth is funny to me in small doses. And somebody called me out in the chat the other day for, oh, you just like everything is fun. I'm like, it's like why? Like, yeah, it's R-Truth can be entertaining, but like, you can't beat me over the head with this shit. And this Judgment Day stuff makes no fucking sense. They would just beat the fucking shit out of him every week until he fucking realizes that he's not in the group. That's what would make sense.
And they just did this story with JD as well. So it's like they're just like rehashing the same. It's like it reminds me a little bit of when they were spinning their wheels with the bloodline, where they were just like, we're gonna do this story, then pull the rug from under you, but then just kind of do the same story but with like different characters, but still the same thing. And then just kind of like stretch that out until Mania.
It's like, oh, but R-Truth is delusional and funny, so we'll do this. I'm like, I don't know, man. But people will crucify me because it's something.
That's just me.
Hey, it's okay.
I know you do.
It's okay to disagree, Blaze. If you're finding entertaining, that's awesome.
It's one of my favorite
No,
things.
fuck you, Blaze. You're wrong. I'll be Sabs. Anything that I don't agree with is stupid and wrong. My Sabs impression, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, it sounds like me sometimes.
I deal with that.
Depends on kind of mood.
Oh no!
If I'm feeling a little spicy, sometimes I can get a little cranky.
You're incredibly self-aware, though. Sabs would never admit that. That's the difference.
But yeah, no, I guess we can kind of transition from that talk into Rumble talk, and I'll ask both of you, one after the other. Who do you think? Give me like 2 or 3 people you think might win the men's Rumble. 2 to 3 people you think might win the women's Rumble. Some early predictions.
I hate it.
Winning the men is Punk, sadly.
I hate to say it, but yeah, I think they're gonna do Punk.
Okay. Other than Punk, who do you guys got?
Cody is a long shot, but I think Cody wins EC to get in. Gunther is another.
That's what I was going to say.
Gunther is a possibility.
Gunther's interesting. Okay, I could dig that.
Gunther could be. There's always the chance that fucking Brock shows up. You know,
I was gonna say Brock is. I for sure think Brock is coming back in the Rumble. That makes a lot of sense. I don't think he's gonna win.
But no.
Maybe that's, you know what though. You know what would be sick. Sorry to interrupt, by the way.
Yeah.
If Brock came came back, and then they do something with him and Gunther, and that's the match at WrestleMania. That would kick ass.
People have been clamoring for that. People want some Gunther Brock, but
they would fuck each other up.
But Brock doesn't. But Brock is better with smaller guys.
It's true. He is better with smaller
Brock's matches with big guys are not great. The only smaller guy match that made it like big time match of his that was shitty was the Ambrose match. But mostly.
And that's because they didn't want to work with each other very much. They had clearly had some issues. They clearly had some issues with each other.
But like, his stuff with Danielson is always good. His stuff with Seth is good.
The AJ match was fucking killer too.
Yeah, AJ's good. Like, he just works better with big guy versus big guy. Really isn't his thing, and I don't think he wants to take any chops from Gunther. To be honest with you,
we don't.
Like I do. I'll go.
Imagine he tries to give Gunther the receipt he gave to Braun Strowman. I don't know if you remember that, but. When he gave Braun Strowman a nice right hook a few years ago. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see Brock putting Gunther over, and Gunther shouldn't lose. I don't see Brock wanting to take those shots.
That's a good point, though. I can't see him putting, unless he really likes Gunther, we don't know about. But Brock seems to only want to work with guys he wants to work with. He's a part-time guy. he's kind of earned that, right? He gets to do
Yeah,
whatever the hell he
yes.
wants.
I mean, as long as it's just it was. I still have PTSD from Brock from all the fucking shit, all the times that fucking something was going our way and we liked it, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
Well,
F5,
that was Vince's like
go to
in case of emergency, break the Brock glass. But you know what? That's
like,
actually a good point to talk about, though. Like, if Brock comes back, would that not be the first time that Brock would be there booked strictly under Triple H? What does that look like?
No, he came back after Vince was gone.
But Vince was still kind of like luring back then.
This was when Vince was like gone.
Okay.
For a while, like the first fucking 4 months, he was just fucked off and like got really and decided he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be bored anymore. But like then he came back and was like in it. But there was a small span and Brock was there for like a little bit.
Okay. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to see what or how they work together, how they managed to handle Brock without Vince there, because I know he was one of the guys that we know was a big Vince guy, right?
Also Cena, and it worked out fine for Cena.
Yeah, that's true. Cena's just, I think, just done.
Cena's just a great guy though too. Like Cena from all.
He's a very loyal guy.
He's a very loyal guy. He's a very charitable guy. Brock doesn't really come off as a really good guy, so.
And the women, let's say Bayley's winning, maybe.
Oh, for the women, okay, Bayley's a great choice.
I was just gonna say that because that would, in my mind, that would jumpstart her getting kicked out of Damage Control because they're gonna be like, oh, you're not gonna cash in on Io or whatever, and then her having that because they're definitely not kicking her out before Rumble at this point. If they haven't,
they have no time. They have no time. Yeah,
I'm so shocked they haven't done it yet. It's so. Like they're just dragging it like man. Like
do you think they're maybe waiting for Coda to be healthy?
I don't think they need Coda to be healthy. I think they've got enough. Like maybe they're waiting to see if Julia signs. I don't know. Like because she could be.
But that's not gonna be till April at the very earliest. And I'm not convinced that Julia would start on the main roster. I feel like they would. I don't see why they wouldn't give her a couple of, at the very least, like a Dragon Lee run on NXT, just to like get her ready for American TV.
What I would do personally is I would have Bayley win, and then I would have Damage Control eventually turn on her, and then have Bayley doesn't have any help because nobody on the main roster likes her, but Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade are both pretty big Bayley fans, and they've been linked to Bayley and like via Twitter and stuff before. And if Bayley's babyface now, turn Cora back because Cora sucks as a fucking heel, and then have her and Roxanne Bayley versus the Damage Control with Coda outside.
That would be pretty sick. I think I just thought of two. Is you know who else Bayley was a big fan of? AJ Lee.
This is true too.
That could be an interesting way to bring her in and tag with Bayley.
It could be. I mean, and Cora and Roxanne both
are also huge fans of. She's like her.
They call her mother. Their mother. So if AJ has a good showing in the Rumble, because chances are she's going to be there.
A very good chance.
And she would be the perfect person to offset Coda, because injured Coda and AJ are probably on the same prime. If Coda's ready to go, Coda's probably a better worker. Obviously, a better worker than AJ, but it's still,
of course.
Because Coda is taking over Damage Control. I mean, she's the only one that speaks English outside Bayley, so
she's gonna be the mouthpiece for them, kind of like that makes sense.
I 100% believe that because she speaks both Japanese and English, so it would make total sense. Yeah. And it puts her in a big role, and I'd be very happy for that because I think Dakota is extremely entertaining.
Me too, and it's honestly been an absolute shame that she hasn't been able to stay healthy. It's really bad luck. I feel bad because like every time she gets that big role and she's like ready to shine, something crappy happens, and the business sucks like that sometimes, man. It breaks my heart.
Her and Tegan both,
yeah, it sucks, man.
And now Tegan is relegated. Tegan's relegated to teaming with Natty, so she'll probably be healthy for that whole thing. And then when she gets a push to do something else, she'll get hurt again. But
two other people I can see winning. Sadly, probably Nia Jax, which I don't want.
Oh, I could see that. You're not. You know what? That's a good shout though.
But a dark horse, I could see Liv Morgan could. That's.
Is she ready? I thought she was still injured.
Is she injured?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea
That's
how
why
close
she's
she's
been
ready.
out.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
why she's been out.
And probably not. But I don't know. We'll see if she returns or not there.
So
Maybe,
nobody's picking Jade, so that's interesting. But
no,
also
Jade. I
correct.
don't think Jade. I don't think she's in it. I don't think they put her in it. They can't. She's not ready.
So you're gonna hate
Unless
my
she's-
picks. You're gonna hate my
Unless
picks.
she's gonna ball out and prove everybody wrong, but I don't think she's ready to that. So you don't put her in the Rumble just to stand around and throw a couple people out and not look good. You want her to look like awesome. So
At this
I
point, they've
wouldn't
already pulled back the debut, so they might as well just win.
no, I wouldn't do that. I think Naomi definitely does it good. Shows up for that. I don't know.
She debuts at the Rumble for sure, in my opinion. She's just a surprise entrant. Absolutely. So I'll give you guys my picks, and you guys can tell me.
All right.
For the men, like I said, you're probably gonna hate me even more than picking CM Punk. I think The Rock's gonna win the Rumble, and it's gonna be the worst. But I think that's what's gonna happen right now. Yeah, I think The Rock is winning the Rumble for the men, and for the women, I think it's gonna be Bianca or Becky. I told you were gonna hate it. I told you were gonna hate it.
Let me get this guy out of here. Bianca?
When did you turn
into Sea Walker? Come on, man.
I don't know. I feel like one of the top women is going to win the Rumble and challenge Rhea, and I think it's either going to be Becky or it's going to be Bianca. It just makes sense to me. That's my logic behind the women, at least. For the men,
going to be.
I don't know. I just think that if The Rock's going to be at Mania, then he's winning the Rumble. That's my logic behind that.
Yeah, but I don't think Rock's going to be it. I don't think there's a chance in how Rock does that. I don't think they take a chance that he randomly gets a bump from some random guy and gets hurt.
Just starts at 30. That's it.
Yeah, but even then, something could happen. Fucking Vince tore both his quads.
Yeah, man. I mean, frick, didn't Shane?
Shane did. Shane just
at the Rumble as well, right? Last year's Rumble.
No, it was Mania.
Oh, it was Mania. That's right.
It was it was Miz and Snoop Dogg segment. And Snoop Dogg had to improvise and beat Miz's ass.
What is it with McMahon tearing their quads? All three of them. Because Triple H is a McMahon now.
I mean,
that's not how that works.
Sure it is.
He didn't take their name.
Sure.
But he fucking but Triple H did it like a fucking man and finished the goddamn match.
Crazy shit, right? Like unbelievable.
Say what you want about Triple H, the man is no pussy.
No, he's definitely
that's for sure.
That's some crazy shit. So those are my picks. I know they're a bit controversial, but
I could see possibly for the women. Becky said she's going to be an elimination chamber, so I think that kind of like.
She did say, she might be giving away the game there, but at the same time, Becky's a worker's worker, so she could also be like doing her reverse psychology shit.
Unfortunately, I could see a world where they lost Charlotte and they bring back the rowdy Ronda Rousey.
I don't think so. I see I agree with your logic from WWE's point of view. I don't think Ronda has any interest in going back to because she doesn't seem like she wants to do full-time wrestling. Period. I think she just wants to do appearances and she wants to be a mom. So whatever. That's
good. For that, I don't really see like maybe Raquel Rodriguez is a dark or Gonzalez, whatever her name is.
She's getting close to return. She has some skin issues, right?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, she might be, but she needs to be a heel when she comes back. She's a very bad face.
Liv makes sense. The more if Liv is healthy, right now we don't think she is, but if she is healthy, her against Rhea does also make a lot of sense. It's not my jam, but I know they've been building that story for years.
I do not feel that Liv Morgan should ever sniff a major title again. I love Liv as a plucky underdog face. She's adorable. She's a good story, but her title run was not good, and she's just not a good enough worker.
I think Liv Morgan is a shining example as to why WWE should really seriously think about a mid-card women's title. Because girls like her are exactly why you need one.
Which I would have too if I was doing it. which I came with 2 mid card titles.
Yeah, we
But,
were talking about that the other day on the board.
Yeah,
It's an
a
interesting
higher
concept.
a higher one and a lower one, like one for the Liv Tylers and one a small, like because old NWA used to do it. There was the US title, and then there was the TV title under it.
Yeah,
The TV title was less than, so you give people like, you know, not the Livs. Like, let's see, who would we go with that? Like, like Ivy Nile right now, like people
sure.
building themselves up, stuff like that.
That would be great for the lowest title. Yeah, for the one
Yeah,
for the up and comers could fight for.
up and comers and the people back on the way down. Maybe give Natty a run if they want to make somebody look good.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that makes sense.
Natty never makes anybody look good, but or
She
Shotzi,
but she
somebody like
tries.
that.
Natty tries, man. Natty tries. Bless her. I still think she's really funny. She's a pretty decent wrestler. I think she looks bored.
We're all bored. Like she just, I don't know. She just hasn't. She's just hang him up. I see Beth is still on the roster too. I checked when I was checking out the
Beth
thing.
Phoenix is still in the roster, really.
She's still on the WWE roster, which is peculiar.
That's strange. I really want her to come powerbomb Mama Wayne.
Ooh, I just thought of something that definitely going to happen in the Rumble, though.
What's
Go
that?
ahead.
We're going to have Zoe in there, and that's when Trish is going to return at some point. Because didn't they have their little thing back when Trish left? They were like
they were still cool. They were cool
on each other. One of them did.
Who's this?
I don't think so. No, they were still cool when they left. When Trish left.
For some reason, I could have sworn.
Zoe, right? You're talking about Zoe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I thought
they were still cool.
That's the reason I thought they had their little.
I could see Trish and Mickie James, by the way, being surprise entrants at the Rumble. Both of them.
Mickey's another one I had penciled in, but I got Mickey and Fallon needs to happen as a team.
Yeah, I love Mickie James, man. She's so awesome.
I do too, and Fallon Henley is the perfect person to put with her because she's that plucky brunette country girl.
It's very similar gimmicks, obviously influenced.
She wants to do it. She wants to tag, and at this point, I think it would be true. Like, I want these girls to come back and help, because now we're at the point where the older wrestlers are some of the talented ones too. Like, back when Trish is an exception because Trish worked herself into being a worker, like a decent worker, and influencing people. But like for a long time, when the girls come back, it was all the shitty fucking old divas that really weren't the workers. Like it's
Kelly.
Now we're getting the Kellys or the fucking Tories, Stacy Keibler.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but fucking Lita can't work with shit either. So
she did not look great on her run back, unfortunately. I agree. No. It was not a good run. Becky was dragging her for sure.
That's why they had to have Trish like knock her out and be the. I don't know. Trish was great in this last run. Heel Trish is a menace, and I love it. It was great.
Trish was, for being away from the ring for so long too. She was fantastic.
She was great. She's someone who could. Another person who would pair with Tiffany Stratton, man.
That needs to happen one day. Either a match or pair together for sure.
Like
that'd be great.
That's just perfect. Like because Tiff, she improved way quicker than Trish did, but she was on the same. She was a fitness girl who picked up wrestling, but Tiffy picked it up in like fucking a year and a half. Not even,
which is insane. She's like a Kurt Angle-esque.
Yeah. Kurt Angle picked it up fast. Damn.
Yeah. Kurt Angle was fucking really quick, but yeah. No, that's. I mean, the Rumble should be fun. Are we still planning on maybe doing a live? Do you guys want to do the live, or do you think we're gonna be able to do that? Or
if I'm around, yeah, I'm down. I just don't know what my plans are gonna be, but I'm certainly down to try it.
With how spotty my internet is sometimes, I might not even stay home.
Yeah, you don't want to be streaming at the same time, man. That makes sense.
I might go to my cousin's house to watch the Rumble. Honestly,
I gotcha. I don't know. It might be interesting if we can. If not, whatever. No biggie.
Yeah. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like it's one of those years where I feel like it. I know like a lot of people are saying Punk, but I don't think it's that obvious. Like it really doesn't have to be. It could easily go another way.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not Punk. I mean, how quickly is Sheamus coming back soon? He's just talking about he wants the Mania main event.
And what's going to be next for Drew as well?
AEW.
And Drew's leaving. Whenever he's leaving.
If Drew is not leaving, they're doing a really good job doing a story where it looks like he's leaving. I'll say that.
What would you prefer? Would you swap MJF for Drew?
No.
If this is real with MJF, you wouldn't swap him.
Never. Just on age alone, it's not worth it. MJF is like a 20. You got 20 years of him if you really want. If you can keep him, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know if he's going to stay for AEW for 20 years. I doubt it. He's one of those guys. I feel like he's going to eventually dip his toes at least for one contract. Seems inevitable.
I think this might be it, man. I think
maybe you never know.
I think it's more than a red herring. I think he hasn't signed a contract yet. Personally,
it's not impossible. You know, it's wrestling, so I'm never gonna say never, and I'm never gonna ever deal in absolutes until I see somebody walk through the curtain.
Unless it's Ricky Starks. That's the only absolute we can count on him.
Here's the absolute. We've got a little bit of time left. I've put it aside for Blaze to talk about Dolph Ziggler / Nick Nemeth making an appearance on Wrestle Kingdom. The floor is yours, my friend. Tell us all about it. Tell us how hyped you were, and talk to us about what you think is next for the old guy.
Oh, yeah. So at that point, I had to watch on my phone, like I said, because my internet was like shit that night. I had to run off my data. I almost jumped up and knocked this table over that I'm like.
Amazing.
When him and Ryan were walking, I was like, oh, shit, what the fuck? Like, I didn't like.
So they showed up during the tag match first, right?
Right before the tag match.
Okay.
That's made me think that everybody get involved in that, which I'm guessing that's what they wanted you to think.
Yeah.
You know, because then later, after David Finlay won the title, he went over there and started talking some smack, and they got into it. I'm ready for that feud. I need, even though Finlay just won, I'm a mark, so I want him to take the title off of him.
Hey man, let's do it. I'm down with it.
Like
the thing with and I agree with you. The thing with Finlay is he doesn't actually need a long run with that title because his moment was beating Ospreay and Moxley.
Yeah,
it doesn't get any bigger than that, anyways. He's just,
which is insane. How lukewarm everybody seems to be on fucking Finlay, and they haven't beat those two guys. It's well, Ospreay's leaving and Mox isn't there, I guess, but
he's the logical match winner. He is getting a bit better. He is getting better. Like him smashing the old two titles to lead to this feud got a lot of heat. And there's a whole thing too where it's a very weird phenomenon. I talk with Chris all the time where what American fans think of New Japan talent is not always indicative of what Japanese native fans think. Local, and the same thing in AEW and WWE in a lot of times, right? Like what a lot of the online discourse happens on Reddit and on the forum and on Twitter, etc., is not always indicative of how crowds react to certain performers. It's just not. It's not always the same crowds. It's very different, and it's very similar in Japan. Like everybody hates House of Torture and thinks they're lame in America, but in Japan they get crazy heat. So it works for them. So I don't know. I think Finlay. I'm not big on him at all, but I think him winning this belt got him a lot of heat, and I think if they book him properly, it could go well. I still want Ziggler to win, though.
But then that post-match thing when he came jumping over the table.
They did the Ziggler did the spot they just showed for that judge that got.
Yeah,
they did the same thing. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
awesome.
amazing.
And that promo he cut, that was about one of his better promos in a while, honestly.
I would.
You know what I mean? Like,
I would love to see Ziggler do good.
Me too. He doesn't even need to win. Like as long as he's in a few matches. The thing that was interesting, and I'll let you finish your thought after, Jake. I'm very sorry.
I don't have many thoughts on it, so you're good.
He's not booked to wrestle Finlay at the next NGPW show that's in not New Jersey, San Jose. They're having TJP fight for the title, which means that Finlay is getting at the very least one defense.
Yeah, at least
which makes me think now that Ziggler has an even bigger chance of winning the belt because they're at least giving him a couple of buffer defenses to say that he's not losing it right away. At least making me believe.
Hopefully, whatever show it's on, When his title matches on, he gets it. Hopefully, it's one of the ones on the New Japan Oracles. I can watch.
Yeah, it just got some of the like New Beginning shows. I think are the ones that are after the US show, so it might happen there, or they might stretch it out to Dominion. I have no idea, but we'll see. It'll be cool.
That'd be one of those ones where no matter what time I gotta wake up, I'm waking up to watch it.
See, Sky really likes House of Torture, and I don't think you're sports entertainment filled. I think that the House of Torture are very annoying and very lame, and it draws a lot of heat. So I think that they're kind of one of those old school heel groups because there's nothing cool about them. They're lame, and they screw up matches, and then you get mad that a perfect match got ruined. And in New Japan, that's a lot of heat when a like 5-star match gets ruined by House of Torture's stupid tactics. I mean, it's just a different way to get heat. I think it's actually really intelligent. So I don't know. They're growing on me for a stupid ass group. I think you would like them, Jake.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't. I just can't. There's too much wrestling. I just can't fit it all into my group.
They're basically like your shithouse kind of heel group that like they're always cheating very blatantly. They hit people with wrenches and shit. And like tie people to the ropes, just like all that kind of stuff that like Japan doesn't do a lot of, so it gets like a shit ton of heat. It's hilarious. It's like
what do you think of, speaking of Ziggler, or sorry, Nick Nemeth? If he does beat David Finlay, and then off of that, because isn't Finlay the one who kicked out Switchblade? Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, versus Vey, Switchblade and Nick Nemeth would probably get along pretty good in AEW, and then you might have a new member of Bullet Club Gold. So,
I mean, I would absolutely love Nick Nemeth and Bullet Club Gold. I think
that
would be amazing.
But
hey, you never know. There's a lot of things he could do in AEW, even if he doesn't sign full time.
They need
versus Omega.
Go ahead.
Whenever Omega's like healthy and back, those two would fucking tear it down.
Absolutely.
Like, I still feel Bullet Club Gold needs. Like, I know the whole Acclaim Bullet Club Gold thing is probably going to happen. I don't particularly care for it because I think it's two things that don't really mesh. Like, I get it, the common whatever. I just think Bullet Club Gold.
Enemy is my,
They both do comedy too, to a degree.
Yeah, they do. One is just over the top, silly scissoring.
Yes.
And I don't, like I mentioned in the thread, I don't see, if they're going to do it, I think the best way to do it is have somebody from the face side of things stick to being a heel and join Bullet Club Gold, but I don't see Max or Bowens fitting that at all. Like, I don't see them being able to change a character and fit into that.
Billy is the only one that makes sense, honestly.
He is, and Billy just needs to kind of, like I said in there, like Billy needs to kind of fade away, especially from the Acclaimed, if they're going to be taken more seriously as a tag team.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you.
Because they need that edge back, and it's never going to happen while they're scissoring daddy asses around. Like, it's
no, and I think it's one of those cases too where the story was Billy getting one last run. He got that one last run. I think the story is just over.
And it got incredibly over. Like, it is like he proved that he doesn't need to be in DX to get over, which is cool. Good for him. I think I was talking to Smark about it the other day about potential people that Bullet Club Gold could bring in. I really would love to see Josh Woods in there. I think Josh Woods is a hoss.
The ass kicker. He would be good in there.
I think he's extremely talented. I think that he could use that. I think he's wasting away with. I love Smart Mark, but he's not.
I don't like that pairing that much either, to be honest.
And I don't like Tony Nese. I think he's bland as fuck. So I think Josh Woods would be good. And Anthony Ogogo is still on the fucking roster too. So
who knows what he's doing? Yeah, but he would be a good addition.
Like, those two guys, I think would be good because, especially if they're going to go up against the Kingdom, Josh Woods would be a good person to offset Wardlow. I think that they would. That's
a good point. And if right now they're teaming up and thinking that Daddy Ass is going to be that guy, like, that's not as believable to me. No. And I know, don't get me wrong, the dude is a specimen. Like, Billy Gunn is a massive, massive dude. But he's an old dude, and like Wardlow shouldn't be selling for him that much.
He gets gassed easily, but that's his problem. He has asthma. He's always gotten gassed early.
Because that's why he's
That's
a
why.
guy.
That's why he was. Yeah, exactly. Because I was listening to the Pritchard podcast years ago, and they were talking about how every time they tried to give Billy Gunn a singles push, it didn't work because he can't do it. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the motor because he is asthma. He gets gassed in the ring by himself. So
that's why he's a good hot tag. He's like
he is, but he's a monster, man. At whatever 68, 60 some years old, whatever old he is. I think he's older than Sting.
He's a beast, dude. Like
yeah,
it's unbelievable how he looks that way still.
I love the look like that when I get that. I don't
hear.
Me
too. Fuck, I'd pay for that for sure. All right, well, we can. I think we can wrap it up here. I think we've hit all of the topics we want to hit.
All the points.
I'm not 100% sure if I'll be available next week because I will be out of town until Sunday. But I will let you guys know. You won't be? Okay, that's good to know. If not, we'll reschedule for maybe another day in the week if we need to.
That's my birthday weekend too, so I will.
Oh, nice. Well, happy early birthday if I forget. I probably won't. I'm always on the
phone. Yeah.
Really online.
Big 48.
Big 48. You're still all right. Still 48 years young.
Yeah. And I look more like Road Dogg does now than Billy Gunn.
But with much better takes.
Well, I do think I'm a better sports entertainer than MJF though too. So
me too. I mean, I'm on YouTube. All right, guys. Thanks for the good chat as always. Thanks for everybody in the chat, specifically Sky for all the messages. That's awesome. Always appreciate that. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we will see you when we see you.
Forget the bell.
Don't forget the bell. Smash that bell. Smash it. Peace out, guys.